Hello everybody, Polius here, bringing you episode 9 of Let's Play Warsong. Today we are going to get started on Scenario 5, the Army of the Empire. Joining the reinforcements from Solrus, Garrett finally begins his march into Baltia. Win condition is to defeat the enemy leader Lance, the blue-armored knight, chief among the enemies in the bottom right box there. Lose condition, as always, death of Garrett. As you see, we have a mountain pass that we have to get across. It's more like a mountain that was split down the middle. But hey, whatever. We'll have either really two options. One is to go north, or go straight through and split our forces. The other is to stick around and hope the enemy comes to us. I've never tested the stick around theory, because I think the best one is to march forward. Garrett, we're finally going to make use of your archers. Here we go. Because we are finally going to face enemy horsemen, and archers just destroy horses. Baldarov, we're going to give you a bunch of soldiers. I don't know if I want to give Mina guardsmen. I mean, they're just terrible. They don't do very much damage. And where I plan to send Mina has a bunch of soldiers. Has a bunch of horsemen, which guardsmen do terribly against. No, I think we're going to stick with soldiers for Sabra and soldiers for Thorn. We'll have a use for guardsmen in a bit. Now, we also have items to use. Sabra, you're going to take the great sword. Actually, you know what? 23 attack, so they're about the same. I'll go ahead and give Thorn the great sword, and it doesn't really matter. Which one do I want to die less? Let's go ahead and give Thorn the great sword and Sabra the cross, because I've never actually done that before. And no, that's not a very good reason. But it is the reason I'm choosing. The idea being, we're going to send them on their own to the center pass, and I want to make sure that they do not badly. Alright, well, I've been dallying enough. Let's get started. We have... Here's the positioning that we are given. I'll have Garrett right here. Mr. Baldarov to the west. Mina just south of him. And Sabra and Thorn. I don't think that Sabra and Thorn are going to be getting a whole bunch of levels. I expect Mina's not going to class up. But Garrett is going to face... The enemy is approaching! All troops in position at once. Yes, sir! Ha 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 ha! The remaining troops of Baltia. I'll get you all. If we can get through here, the castle of Baltia should be right in front of us. I'm sure the enemy will ambush us there. We can't retreat now. Everyone, stay close and try not to get hurt. Yeah, master strategist that Garrett is. But fortunately, we're not going to listen to him. We're not going to stay close. We are going to advance. To quote Patton, we're going to hold him in the nose so we kick him in the backside. Okay, paraphrase Patton. So, we'll get the archers up. And this is actually a good time to talk about choke points, not just in this game, but in strategy games as a whole. Because something that I've seen a lot of people do is that they misuse the advantage a choke point provides. There are really three ways that you can end up, well, I guess 4 ways you can use a choke point. One of them is to just ignore it. The other is the bad way. That's to say, put a soldier right here. This spot and this spot are impassable, so you only need one person to keep the enemy from moving forward, but they can attack you in 2 directions. In other words, the idea of a choke point is making sure that your opponent cannot use their greater numbers against you. This is a failure of that idea, especially because you're then on the low ground and they're attacking from high ground. Better is to ensure, for example, put soldiers here and here. Now you have 2 people holding against one spot, and you can have those 2 people attack that one target. That's a much better use of a choke point. And then the extra soldiers you have then are just a reserve for that, to ensure that... Oh, I thought he was never mind. And that's what we're going to do with Thorn and with Sabra. We're going to ensure that they are holding the center pass, because I suspect that they'll be fighting against Lance. Soldiers aren't very good against cavalry, even though they're holding spears and horses don't like charging into a wall of pike. So they need the numbers to be able to absorb that. I don't know how much experience they're going to be getting from this. I don't know how much damage they'll be able to do to Lance, but at the very least, they will be able to hold position until Garrett can swing around from the east. I moved Thorn up there. Where did he go? Where's my Marine? So we'll just kind of cluster. The other thing is having these weaker soldiers actually ensures that the enemy will direct some of their resources towards them, because the AI is programmed to go after softer targets, which in this case does in fact mean the soldier unit. And that's illustrated in the second chapter when Mina had all of those civilians and the enemy would attack them first. Of course, that was kind of easy pickings for them, so I'm not terribly surprised. And they do get experience, which I think is a nice touch, that the enemy does get experience. So there is something of a penalty for just throwing soldiers away. It's not a huge one, mind, but it's there. There's also a penalty for throwing enemy soldiers away. As we've mentioned, if you kill the enemy commander, then you lose out on any chance of getting experience from their soldiers, because they all just die. I assume they're retreating, but you don't actually get to stop their retreat. And since this game has a finite amount of experience, that's a good way to not be ready for the harder levels to come. So let's go ahead and set to manual, because being lazy with all this rough terrain around is a bad idea. The AI does kind of have some trouble dealing with all that impassable terrain. Right, and there we go, end phase. And while this is going, I'll grab a quick drink. It's hot out, and I've been realizing part of why I haven't enunciated clearly is I've been a bit dehydrated. I apologize for that, and I am trying to address it. All those speaking courses and communication merit badge seem to have gone to waste. So, and we once again return to the really awesome villain music. I can't get enough of this music, and it's a shame that I couldn't, just buy the soundtrack for this game, because it's good. I like the soundtrack. Now we've got, facing Garrett, at the very least, we have archers and horsemen, so we either have the advantage against the horsemen or at equal ground against archers, sort of. The enemy archers are called Dark Elves, which have, I believe they have +1 advantage to attack over our own archers. Again, why should the game be fair, right? Of course, the weird thing is that all of the other units, the enemy soldier and the enemy horseman are on equal ground, I believe. We can check archers. So yeah, 19 to 20. We can check soldiers, 2014 to 2014. So in fact, the enemy is at equal ground to us on those parts. Now we'll find out the enemy gets command of other units later, which are just awesome, and I wish we could have. Now, normally the strategy here would be to put your soldiers on, so that the enemy has to come out of the water to attack. But we don't want Baldarov to kill our people. He's Mr. Miyagi. He is to train our men, not steal all the experience for himself. So we're going to set up so that the enemy has to attack, or the enemy gets to attack from defensible terrain. Because I'm, good guy Baldarov. He wants to be honorable and give people the chance. So set up there. Oh, and I just remembered I needed to mute my laptop so I don't get those Steam notifications. I actually am really worried that that's been hurting viewers, or not hurting viewers. That would also be unfortunate, but hurting viewership. There we go. We have an interesting formation there. Now we need to move Sabra and Thorn's people up. Oh, and I just remembered, this is in fact the first level where we finally get to use Mina and Thorn. So we no longer have to worry about the AI's incompetence getting them killed. Just my own incompetence. And isn't that better? I think so. This rough terrain makes it really hard to move through here, but I will be so grateful for it when it comes to fighting the enemy. Because Sabra and Thorn aren't exactly the best yet, and minimizing how much damage they can take in a turn is a good way to maximize how much damage I can deal in the next. See? You can put corporate speak in anything. Not that anyone would want to, but hey, I'm not here to do what I want. So, this will be a mess until we get into position, and the spot that I'm looking at is actually right here. It'll let me put my couple of my soldiers. I'll get a soldier here, a soldier here. Sabra and Thorn will be able to heal them, and I'll be able to cycle soldiers out as a part of the battle. Now move Garrett up. Now something that I realized while I was doing a check of this level. Archers actually get a double bonus in Forest. So while it says 10%, 20% there, it's actually 40% under the combat grade, which is incredible. So given the choice between being in a forest or being on a hill, you actually want to be on the forest. And that's another reason why this spot is basically tailor-made for Garrett to just farm experience. And honestly, I think that's an aspect of good game design here. That the designers realize that you only have so much experience, and you have to get all that experience to do well. So they make points where it's not, where you actually have the chance to take advantage of that experience farm. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Archer here, 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 and here with some in the reserve. Garrett will be able to heal these guys, which makes sense because now we know they're on the lesser of the terrain. Meanwhile, these guys will be able to attack into, either onto what becomes lesser defense, equal defense, or much lesser defense. They'll be firing into a clearing, which is fantastic. Alright, that's my turn, and I'm sticking to it. Another drink of water. I don't mind the heat, I don't like the humid. So we get the enemy moving. So they're actually taking least distance. I wonder if that's, I'd have to see in position where in relation I am. Normally the AI actually likes going through the river, which makes sense, because, as I've said, the AI does prefer a least distance approach. It's like one of those really bad GPSs that always put you on the toll road, even though you've asked it not to. Where are you going? Where are you going, dude? That's not where you need to go. First Commander, what are you doing? Alright, yeah, Lance usually goes there. Which also makes tactical sense because now he is in a position to respond to the left or to the right. You don't want to overcommit. But I don't attack the enemy's commander. The troops will be disorganized without someone to lead them. You're not allowed to talk strategy anymore. Go back to leading the killing. I'll do the thinking. If we did that, we would be in a really bad place. Garrett, you would not be a lord if we did that. Instead, we are going to milk the enemy for all they're worth. As Napoleon says, it's rude to interrupt your opponent when they're in the process of making a mistake. Though I think he said it in French, not English. So here we go. As I said, I can rotate soldiers out and then put them, put these reserve. I'd actually like to have one more. Just, it's impossible, but just so that if I need to, I can then move one down, move a healed unit up, and then move the injured unit. But whatever, that's not an option. Anyway, let's get Sabra up here. Let's get Thorn while you... Oh, I guess they made the same amount of movement. Sabra! Oh god, you're all strung out. That's bad. again, another advantage of the choke point, and you're talking about, made the joke about this being like 300 in some ways. It, like Thermopylae, it gives you a chance to organize your forces. While you have a few units holding position, you can be shuffling around in the back and getting ready. Move up. I'll put you here. And let's move you over here. Like I said, the golden spot is right there. Now, what would be really great is if these two were lords, because then they could actually AoE heal in the same way Garrett does. Now, the last thing I want to do is I don't want to cloister all of my men so that it's a solid line of soldiers. That doesn't do much more than ensure that the enemy, if they kill one, can't get all the way through. The idea is you want to leave enough room so that you can continue shuffling soldiers around. And we'll see how well I can manage that. Mina, we're going to put you... I guess we'll put you here. Like I said, the idea for Mina is I want her to be able to get as much experience as possible. I think it would be fine if I did this. I mean, a 10% bonus is not the same as forcing the enemy to take a 20%, but I'm going to take what I can get. All men are in a full defense position. I like it, I like it, I like it. Oh yeah, one other thing. Lance is a Royal Guard. He's the only character in the game, I think, who can be a Royal Guard. So his attack is... he's like a Magic Knight, which is one of the things that could make Garrett. But he also has a Blizzard spell, I think, which does a line of damage. So like if it were to hit this guy, it would hurt him, him, and him. At least that's what I remember seeing of it. So it's not a lot, and it takes up... It does like 2 damage and takes up all of his magic points, so I'm not exactly stressing out about how much damage he can do with that. And later on, we're going to be using strategies to drain the enemy's magic. Oh, this is great. Yeah, see that 40 and 10? That should be a 20 if this were anything but an archer. It's a happy day to be an archer. I'll say that. Now, if I were okay with giving Baldarov experience, I would attack them while they're on the road in the river. Again, that is the worst thing I could be doing. And here the enemy does have a technical advantage. But by the numbers, it was a draw. Since I have the defensive position, I would say that at the end it's a victory for me, even if a Pyrrhic one. Alright, let's see what this guy does. Oh, fantastic. Lance, what are you doing? I don't think he knows where to go yet. Attention! Be on guard at all times.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Alright. You know what? I've been thinking about it. Move. I'll have time. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to put Thorn and Sabra at the vanguard. Again, they'll do fine against these soldiers, and as they hurt one, the other will then be able to take up the slack. And I'll try to make sure that they get some even leveling. Alright, and just to keep them straight in my head, I'm going to put these guys up. Alright, so these are all Thorn's men. Thorn's men. That sounds like a really cool mercenary unit. Thorn's men! But, yeah, that's just me. I don't want to have... I want to leave space here and here open so that I can pull Thorn back and Sabra back, and then move soldiers forward for when we have to deal with Lance's Knights or Horsemen. Otherwise, these two will be facing the brunt of it all in their... But then again, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll actually move them forward and see how much they can dull the enemy's attack. I don't think it's going to work. We'll see. As for this, I think that this is good. I have space. I can move men back or cycle some in. Yeah, this is what I want. I asked for this. Now for here. See, I can move an archer back and move someone up to cover for him. And let's go ahead and attack. Not bad. I would have liked him to be dead, but you don't always get what you want, and I didn't. Yeah, Garrett's going to do fine here. This is a fantastic position. The enemy's just going to break their teeth on the wall of his defense. Alright. I think this is fine. Let's go ahead and move one guy here, and one guy here. But for the grace of God, we go. Downhill isn't an advantage anymore. That said, I still would want to be charged by cavalry downhill. Yeah, archers still have a hard time completely destroying an enemy unit by merit of they only get one attack per scene, I guess. That said, the defense bonus that Garrett provides, plus how much damage they can do before the enemy reaches them, the enemy also has a hard time killing them. Oh, that's great. That's largely what I wanted. Don't. Good man. What are they doing? Are they trying to slip around? Oh, they're out of... Oh, they're out of range. Why would you attack when you're out of range, man? Why would you do that? Oh man, that was just horrifically painful. Wonder how the commander feels about that. Just after Lance told him to be on guard at all times, too. I think Mina and Baldarov are going to be alright. Worst comes to worst, Mina and Baldarov can pull back into... There's a small, higher pass. They can, you know, pull a Hannibal Barca and pull back into that pass and hold up in there. Baldarov probably wouldn't be able to kill any horsemen, and Mina would be able to heal up and do whichever. This is the pass I'm talking about. Alright, let's see. You. Move here. You move here. I actually think I'll attack that guy, so... Come on, Mina, get him! Yeah, level 6 Mina. Alright. Why would he have done that? That's actually really frustrating. I'm going to leave this guy here. Hopefully the soldiers will go after him. As for this, move Sabra forward. Leave that space in back. move the rest forward. I think that'll do. And as for here. Now, one other thing Garrett has is he has a heal. I could just straight up heal these guys. Let's do it. It's not exactly the best time to do it, but it's a good way to illustrate how effective it can be to heal your guys. Boink. So now they're at full health and they can attack. Just continue to lay waste to the enemy. I was about to say, 10 to 3, you'd better destroy them. It also gives my other soldiers who are being treated right now in the back more time to heal up. This is a really nice thing about the way the combat works here. In some of the newer games, when you were to destroy an enemy, they would then advance into the square the enemy was, as you occupy that terrain. I'm glad that doesn't happen here. That would make it really difficult. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to leave this soldier as bait. End of phase. Yes, attack my archers. I dares ya. Ooh, ouch. Alright, well, he'll get full healed when I move him next to Garrett next turn. Right, they're still fine. They can't totally wipe an enemy out, but in some ways that's actually an advantage. There's sometimes when you don't want to wipe the enemy out, if you keep taking a little bit of damage as you totally destroy your enemy, suddenly you're at 2 health and they're attacking you with a full stack. So there's some advantage to having a less than full health archer. Oh, thank you. Oh no. Come on, Mina. Maybe I should have given her the cross. I mean, she's got plenty. Yeesh. I may have done goofed. Now the enemy will be trying to heal all of those guys. Right, they're injured. I think I should have given Mina the cross, or even the sword. We'll see. As I said, I can always pull back. But, oh, they're just going to keep attacking Sabra, the one who can kill them. Ha! Fail! And like I said, this is just, it's not infinitely sustainable, but it is incredibly so. Now, the scary thing is having Lance there. This is not a one match. This is not a one round at all. But we also add a moment for a cut. So please remember to leave likes, comments, or if you haven't yet, subscriptions, and I will see you all next time. Polius out.